Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Guys, I want to share this download with you guys really quickly. So it's important for some of you, my chosen ones, to pray and ask for staying power. Pray for staying power. Again, we know everyone is different, right? Some people get bored and they kind of hop around, things like that. But right now, what I'm speaking about is in regards to your promise, your destiny. Right now, I'm speaking to, because we all are at different stages, obviously, on this walk, but I'm speaking respectfully to those who have really put some work in because we go from level to level, glory to glory, right? So you can't just answer the call and think you end up in destiny tomorrow, right? So, but respectfully, right? But I'm speaking to the ones that you've been on this journey for quite some time. You know that God has given you a promise. You know that it's in your spirit, have always been in your spirit, but it seems like that door just won't open, meaning you're at the door. It's no longer a question. You've passed your test. The enemy has tried you, because of course the enemy is going to do everything in his power to prevent you from missing that season. Now, again, I'm not speaking about earlier seasons. I'm not speaking about level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Because again, we go from level to level, glory to glory. Speaking about those of you who have already put that work in, you still got ways to go now. Don't get it twisted. We don't ever just arrive, if you will. But I'm speaking about your destiny land. The promised land. So some people may have turned back through all this work you put in, through all this time, all these years, for some decades and even longer maybe, but you gave up right before this door opened, right before that guard gate goes up. The enemy has tried every single thing. He delayed your time. So you may have been locked in on a certain time. Maybe you felt like God gave you a timeline, maybe a certain age or a certain year, right? You locked in on that. So the enemy caused something to delay that season. This can look like a spiritual attack, which set you back. This could have been divorce, heartbreak. This could have been grief, but it took you time to recover, right? You needed some time, months, years, whatever. It took you time to recover. You may have even given up not only on the promise, potentially even your faith during this process, because that attack had been the worst attack of your life. See, Satan is very, very strategic. He held that particular attack right before the door opened to due season. Because many people got up out of alignment during this attack. Because it's hard to stay spiritually fulfilled when you just experienced the worst attack of your life. So what happened? Many people ended up with counterfeits. Many people ended up going back to some type of addiction. Many people needed time to grieve. Many people needed time to recover from job loss and just trying to keep their heads above water. But at the end of the day, when you're in survivor mode like that, it's very, very hard to stay spiritually tapped in. So that alone sets you back. But you made it with your mind intact. But you still have not arrived, right? I mean, you're there, but that door just won't open. And now the enemy is playing with your mind. Say, God said this particular age. Remember when God said this particular year. However, you must consider within that the time that you were distracted. Again, whatever it may have been, grief, heartbreak, whatever, you got to still factor in that time. So it was a delay right there. So even if he told you, let's just say he told you 30. Let's just say, for example, he told you 30. And at 28, you went through the worst attack of your life that required you 2 years to recover. 3 years to recover. 3 years to recover. So now you're 31. But now the enemy, because that gate have still not opened yet, the enemy is playing with your head, telling you, well, no, it can't be, because God told you 30. You're 31 now. So it was a familiar spirit. It was never God. Because if it was God, you know he told you 30. So this is what the enemy is saying to you. But he's very strategic. He's very tricky. So now you have to now plug in the fact that, well, wait a minute, God did say 30. But for 4 years, or how many, 2 or 3, whatever I said, 2 or 3 or 4 years, you were down. You got to factor that time in. You got hit. So it's a delay. All right. So that's one way he will try to get you to abort destiny. Okay. Try to play with your mind, telling you about time frames, about you, all that nonsense. Next. If you are not a person who understands the importance of foundation and staying power, he's going to trick you here too, because you're not going to always see things happening all the time. There's many times where God will go silent on you. It doesn't mean he's not working, but he went silent on you. And because you don't see things moving, or they're not moving quick enough for you, if you will, you're going to get antsy. And then you're going to go and you're going to get your hands in something else. You're going to start this. Really, God just needs you to be still. But because you're antsy, now you go and start this business. You go and start this. Now that has your time, when in reality, he needs you to be focused. So he's going to attempt to trip you up there. Another way he will attempt to trip you up. There are giants in the land. You're just getting there, or waiting to get there. There are giants in that land that has been in that land for quite some time. People, places, or things. And when they encountered you, when they heard about you, when they saw you, when they felt your spirit, they knew that you were there to shake that land up. They knew things would have to change. They felt your spirit. They knew something was different about you. They knew if you got there, many would have to go. So they're in survivor mode. So now they're going to fight against you. So potentially the very land that you're called to is using warfare against you. This is why staying power is crucial. Because even though it may look like they have one up on you, who knows, it may be a person who has a lot of say in that land. It may be multiple people all against what God is trying to do in that land, right? It may seem like they have one up on you. Logic will tell you that. Common sense will tell you that. Remember, this is spiritual. So something happened where they locked you up out of that land. Could have been strife, could have been misunderstanding, could have been confusion, could have been, what do you call it? Witchcraft, just whatever, right? They locked you out of the land. But you know what God has said to you. Staying power, meaning regardless of what it looks like in the physical, you're going to remain planted. Even if it's in a season of stillness God have you in, you're going to remain planted until you hear from God. Meaning, if you don't hear from God telling you to go start something new, do this. If God is saying be still, be still. So what's happening is, over time, as you're being still with staying power, God is dismantling the very people, places, or things that the enemy is using to keep you out of due season. Now, how does that happen? That's between none of your business, none of our business. That's between them and God, right? For example, it can just look like God removing the scales off of people's eyes. So all the counterfeits are now being exposed in the land, and God is dropping them one on one, one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. Remember, this season is about good versus evil. So they're maintaining the land through evil, through domination, through witchcraft, things like that, through darkness. So God is dismantling it one by one. Staying power will have you staying in faith. So you don't even have to physically see what's going on. Now, God may give you an idea if he knows that, okay, you're getting a little antsy and he want to be sure that you kind of just, he needs you to stay. So he may kind of give you an idea. So you may hear about something, or you may see something. That's not for you to do anything, right? This is a battle that he's doing. He's dismantling the systems. Staying power will have you staying till God do what he needs to do, and then he comes back and boom, overnight that door opens, boom, that gate go up, and you enter due season. But if you don't have staying power, you will leave and potentially miss this whole season. Many people who are in due season, either you're already physically in the land or you're still at the guard gate. I mean, you're just truly, I mean, you already know what it is. But at any given time, and truly, the shift happens like this, honestly. Like, you can't even look for it. If you look for it, you just might as well just, you're delaying your own time. Because God is not going to let you see when it's coming. You will not see when that destiny helper arrive. You will not see when that phone call comes. You won't even see it. It happens literally overnight. So the way that you're assuming and you're thinking, like if you're really going through it seriously and you're really thinking that it's going to happen this way, God's going to use that person, it's going to happen when you least expect it. It's going to happen when you're fully surrendered. It's going to happen when you finally get to the point of, I don't care if it happens or not. I mean, it's not that you're saying it and like speaking against it per se, but you're fully surrendered. Like, it is what it is. Lord, whenever you say it is what it is, I'll be right here. I'm not harassing my nerves about it anymore. I know that I know that I know. And your time is your time. That's when it happens. When you fully surrender and let go of the control of it. And then you will discover that every single thing that God promised you, it is. The issue is we don't arrive the way we thought. So the destination was always correct. The details we had wrong because we created our own blueprint of how we think it should happen, who God should use, when God, like, we got to do better. Those of you, my chosen ones, who've gotten out of alignment because you took a major hit, and if you're still grieving whatever the hit is, if you're still grieving, be gentle with yourself. A time will come. God's gonna just take the time you need to grieve, right? You will know. You'll feel spiritually when it's time to try to get back up and take that first step. But the point is, when you do get back up, don't let time frames that you have locked in your head throw you off, because you got to consider the fact that you needed time to go through whatever you're going through. So the time frames may not always look the same. Those of you who are at this guard gate and you're waiting for that door to open, pray for staying power. Those of you who are very, and I say this respectfully, very like fearful, almost like very timid. Please understand this. The enemy is just not going to allow you to just take territories, even when God has promised you those territories. Think about it. He's done everything to throw you off. He gave you the worst spiritual attack of your life. I mean, he's distracting you with counterfeits. He's tempting you back with addictions and everything that you like. So if he is doing everything in his power to keep you from, he's going to continue. That's how serious he is about you not arriving to due season. You're going to have to get bold. You're going to have to get fearless. You got to get gruff. Seriously, with certain kind of blessings, especially, and this is how you know the blessing is grand. It's an indication by how fiercely the enemy is fighting you and attacking you. You got to get gruff. Pray for boldness. Pray for fearlessness, because there's going to be some things that God requires you to do through some type of intricate detail or instructions that will probably scare you because it doesn't make sense in the physical realm. You'll almost feel like there's no way in the world. Like you can't think like that. It's supernatural. If God says do it, do it. There's a strategic instruction for a reason. You're going to have to, you can't wait for the fear to pass. I mean, if you just say, okay, Lord, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And you keep saying that I'll do it tomorrow when I feel, I'll do it tomorrow. You will never get it done. You will never get it done. In fact, you will miss the season if you're not careful. It's time sensitive. What you do is you pray throughout your knees trembling. I mean, it's still trembling, but you're praying. And then you pray for strength and boldness, because grace is going to come upon you to make the step. You're still going to be fearful, but you take the step. When you take the step, boom, something happens, and that fear lift up off of you. It's almost like the fear itself is some kind of attack to keep you from taking the move, taking the step. Because once you take it, the fear literally falls up off of you. That tells you it's an attack. If God says go, go. If God says speak, speak. If God says speak only this, then you speak only that. If God says when you get there, keep your mouth closed. And even if it doesn't make logical sense to you, like why would you tell me to go somewhere and then keep my mouth shut? It's because the Spirit is doing something. Your spirit is dominating that area. Your spirit is claiming that area. You don't need to speak. If that is your instructions, following the instructions is crucial. And you got to be fluid and flexible, because you may have a certain instruction, but then the enemy attacks it one way. God will drop something in your spirit. You got to stay connected to the Holy Spirit. If you're an extrovert and you're a person like you just have to have a lot of people around you. If God is calling you to a season of isolation, if He's convicting you right now about a long time, this is crucial. Potentially, you could be getting the wrong information from your friends or the people, and not that they're intentionally giving you wrong information, but this is like, seriously, it's so spiritual that only God can give you. It doesn't even make sense sometimes. So here you're asking your friends for wise counsel, or someone for wise counsel, and the counsel they're giving you is something that they would do if they were in the situation, or maybe God had them to do one thing in their process that's not the same as yours. So they think that they're giving you wisdom, but it's the opposite. Get to the secret place and stay there. It is crucial during these times. If God has given you some kind of idea, witty idea, invention, for many chosen people, this was given long ago. This was that thing where God told you not to speak on it. Or if you were to speak on it, he'll let you know when, who, etc. But he told you this was a covenant. Truly, just he gave you some kind of seed to remember. And it has been a long time now, and you feel like this thing has still not staying power. The enemy is attacking it. Yes, it is. Truly, it is the season for it to be released now. But the enemy is attacking it. He's attacking it. And staying power is what's going to give God time to really strategically get things in motion. But if you move up out of place because you don't have staying power, you're going to miss it. Think about it. All this time it's still in your spirit. Make it make sense. Why is it still in your spirit? This ain't even something that you created yourself. It was dropped into your spirit. And it's still in your spirit all this time later. Make it make sense. Why haven't God removed it out of your spirit if you heard God wrong? You need staying power. Those of you, many of chosen people, many, seriously, well, a lot that I know, many chosen people right now are in a place where you are currently annoyed with your current place. This can be your job. This can be relationships of any sorts. Just wherever you are, where God currently have you at, you are annoyed. But he is requiring you to stay, hence staying power. He's requiring you to stay, and he's requiring you to still move in a place of excellence, meaning even though there's no longer a desire for it like that, you got to still do it and do it well. That right there is a whole teaching lesson within itself. But you still don't have that release yet. Now that release can happen tomorrow. It can happen today. But the point of the matter is, just because you're uncomfortable, just because there's not a desire, you just can't leave just because you want to leave. You don't have the spiritual release yet. So let's just say God have promised you a ministry, children's ministry, just saying you want to build a children's school. But you're currently a teacher. I'm just using this as one example. You used to love going to work, love the school, love the other teachers, love the parents, love the kids, all that stuff. And you still do love the kids. But honey, you don't even like... It's hard for you to get up out of the car when you go to work. Now, you're still being grateful because you're still grateful that you have a job, right? Because at some point, obviously, you prayed for it. But the point is the desire is gone. But at the same time, the excitement to build and start this children's ministry is there. Your spirit is ignited, but the funding is not there yet. God promised you a destiny helper. That haven't happened yet. But so nothing in the physical is making sense, or even the things that God gave you a witty idea and invention about, and he promised you long ago that this would be the way that it's going to be funded. That still has not happened yet. But yet, your spirit is so excited as if the time is now, but you're stuck to this school, and all God is telling you currently is be still. What you need is staying power. Ask for staying power. The enemy is going to try to get you to get up out of that school. There's going to be teachers who start to bully you. I don't know. There's like it's going to get to the point that he's going to use everything within that school to try to get you to abort and leave that school before it's time. But God is not telling you to leave. He's telling you to be still. You got to be very, very, very discerning there. It could be a reason for that. It could be somebody to come in that school and who's going to fund the very ministry that he's calling you to, right? Or there's some kind of lesson that he still needs you to get. Maybe you're still struggling in the area of patience. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself here, right? I'm better. And maybe you're struggling in the area of patience, and it's going to be something within that school that he's challenging you and he's working on you. Some type of character flaw that you're going to develop within that school because maybe you're a runner. Maybe you're the one to run every time things get hard. When you're uncomfortable. And it truly could be a trauma trigger, but you're a runner. Well, how are you going to build a children's ministry and run? So he's teaching you stay in power. Like, hey, you've been running all your life. When things get uncomfortable, you can't just run. You got to stay. Okay, you asking me for a spouse, but every time you get triggered, you're going to run? No. I'm trying to develop your staying power. So that's why I got you. Staying power is going to be the only way I can teach you because you won't listen to nobody else. Staying power, my friends. That's what we need right now. Staying power. I have had so many, I won't say so many, because when it comes down to large destiny shifts, like things that are life-changing, like major shifts, they're not frequent. Like we have a lot of frequent, like little smaller things, but I'm talking about like major shifts. It's not like they happen all the time. But for me, truly, when they happen like this, overnight. You don't even see it coming. I mean, you know, spiritually, you feel something's shifting or coming or but physically, nothing makes sense in the physical world. Everything looks the opposite of what God says. And then when it comes, most times, not even how you, if you had a way to try to like create how it would happen, it don't even happen that way. It happens better. It's supernatural. So encourage yourself, motivate yourself that even though you're in a position right now and God just won't release you, motivate yourself by knowing that that shift can happen today. That open door can happen today. That destiny helper can arise today. Seriously.